this one right here. But consequently, after many years, one turned into five boys, and divorced, and on her own. And moving from Mississippi to Michigan with those five boys to Detroit, Michigan. At the time, it was a very, very controversial city. A lot of gang, a lot of war, a lot of stuff happening in that city at the time. I was 3 years old. My youngest brother was still in the womb, and he was birthed in Detroit. He's the only one born in Detroit. And now she's out there, and she's putting it in the work to raise these five boys without a husband and without her family being in the same city or the same state. Her sister, who's 92 now, she had a man. She said he was a wonderful man. They was married a long time. A long time, man. Do you remember how long? Baby, I know, I don't either. She was married to my Uncle James for years, and they lived in Ohio, Cleveland, which is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours away. So we did have somebody that close, but not close enough to pick the phone and call. But Mother Johnson modeled for us what it means to be and I say Christian loosely, a saint, really, of God. Kept us in church, raised us right, taught us the word, and lived the life in front of us. I didn't have the opportunity or the disadvantage of having many men in our life. She didn't date a whole bunch of men, and we had to try to figure out, is that our uncle? Wasn't nobody in the room. There wasn't no abuse and all that other stuff that goes along. She made a decision that she was going to protect us. When I was 14, almost about to turn 15, she did marry. At that time, we were big enough to eventually kick his butt. But anyway, that's another story for another day. we had to work on her brother. It's a long story. But anyway, she did marry, but we were old enough to hold our own. And I watched her even through that difficult marriage. My mother worked 3 jobs. My mother went back to school, educated herself, got her education. I mean, she just was an incredible, and the way she looked now, my mother's always been gorgeous. You can stand up, because they come here. They can't believe she's 80. Now, she looked good. She looked good, but she's always been like that. My mother was fine when she was young. My little brother, he was little. This was no creepy stuff. He was little. He asked my mother to marry him. Antoine, he said, "You so pretty, would you marry me?" And I was like, I was about to ask. Now he asked first. No, go ahead. But it's always been beautiful, but she kept me in at bay. She kept that lifestyle at bay until we were old enough. My brother was out the house. He was on with his life. My second oldest brother was out. We were just 3 of us at home. And she made a decision to marry. It didn't turn out to be the way she wanted it to be, but we watched her suffer. Unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he had a chronic drug problem, and it took our lives on a turn that you couldn't even imagine. And my mother, who was a nurse at the time, and had us in a nice neighborhood, we came from a poor situation, but she built us. I watched her build. I watched my mother build and get us out the ghetto, put us in a nice house, and then we met, and for a little while it was good, but then that turned bad, and she struggled through that, and still kept her walk with God. We was in church all the time. He was a pastor's son, so we was all in church, and she walked through that situation. It didn't end the way we wanted it to end, but she came out of there looking like a beautiful rose, smelling like a rose. Always have been my major supporter since I was a kid. Every engagement she's been at. I can't, except for now that I travel around the world, but before I was doing that, I can't remember one time my mother was either driving me or showing up to make sure that I was okay. Even coming to Saginaw, I told her she didn't have to come. She's determined she's going to help me and help me build and help me secure what I need to secure here. She's that way with all her sons, and my mother is the kind of person that I'm getting ready to show you some videos. Now, you don't, I know I kind of slid into this. That was on purpose. But I'm going to give people, if you have, I know it's after 12, so if you have to, I'm going to give you a moment that you can be able to receive a blessing. But we're going to be a blessing to her financially today. She didn't ask me to do this. I've never done this. 25 years of ministry. My mother, when she first joined this church, she was our major financial supporter. One of the major. She would. I get emotional, but she would give her entire paycheck to our church to help us start. I'm talking about, and it was not a little paycheck. My mother was making some good money, and she would give a week's worth of pay, 2 weeks worth of pay, whatever we needed. She was in her pocket giving that. She does this for all her sons, all of her sons. And so we always get mad at each other when mama support the other one. We always do that. Because everybody should, we all men. We're like, why are you asking mama for that? They never said nothing to me, so I don't. They might like me. I don't know. So I never heard them complain about her helping me, probably because it was a church. But whenever she goes into her resources to help one of her sons do whatever, we always say, hey man, But she gonna ask you. Mother she protects all of us. We are her favorite sons. All of us are her favorite sons. It depends on the moment that we're in, who the favorite is. It depends on that moment. And so if it's your moment, you the favorite. And everybody else better get back and leave you alone. And she defends all of us against the other. If we can't come to our mother and talk about each other. Like she's not the outlet. She's gonna hear what you gotta say, and she's gonna tell you, call your brother, get it straight. I ain't raised y'all like this, da da da. So we don't gossip with her about each other. Because she ain't the one. And she's going to support that one even if he's wrong. Listen, my mother, that's why I got off the line. My mother, and this is not literal. Y'all, please don't take my words so this is relaxed. My mother is the kind of mother that, y'all know where I'm going with it. She said don't say it. She said don't say it. But y'all get it. If it happened, who helping you clean up? My mother is... ain't nobody done nothing like that. Never in jail. 5 sons in Detroit, no arrest. Come on, y'all. And just a great, great lady. And I want to thank you for listening to my story. And that's how I want to end the message today, with that story. Because it's because of her that was revealed to me who I truly am. I learned that from her, that I was a man of God. I remember the days so clearly of going outside to play with my friends, and all my brothers outside playing, and she would come to the door. Alvernis! Yes, come here. Sit down, you a preacher.